successful lunge. Let's see if Walter can make it back without falling in the water. Oop, we got wet.
So it's a really hot, muggy day and lots and lots of bugs. But in continuing in the firewood harvesting, you see the widowmaker right there? It's a small one, but it'll still bust your head open. This is a dead ash tree here I'm going to take down, you know. It won't be too awfully technical. I've got a bunch of these. Maybe I can get a couple of them on film today, maybe not. But pretty much, I went and checked my property line. This is my northern property line, the road, although it actually goes about 20 foot that way. So there's a bunch of dead ash that are right here by the road that I can take down and get up there. And plus there's a bunch of maple that will never be a log that I can take down as well. It's really easy to skid out. And there's a whole bunch of cherry, some big ones. So we'll spend some time out here, probably more in the wintertime when I have to get up out of the woods because of the snow. I'll come back to this. But over time I intend to harvest. There's almost a half a mile of this down through here that I can grab. Most of it's firewood. So anyway, I'll just set the camera up and see if I can take this one down without getting hurt. I don't know. I don't see what's up in there. I usually spend a little more time on these to make sure there's nothing that's tangled in the tree behind it, so that when the tree begins to fall, it gets tangled and snaps back at me. I mean, a lot of this is just going to crumble when it hits the ground. So I'm going to do most of my cutting from up there, and then I'm going to escape out that way, uphill versus downhill. Because oftentimes when you cut uphill, the tree is going to do a bounce and come back down. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'm going to assume it does, assume the worst, and then plan my cut and my escape to where I have a good solid cut right about there, and I escape out there. The first thing I have to do is get the saw fired up, and then get rid of some of this brush around here so I can work around that tree. Take the extra time. Yeah, this is my farm saw, 565. Perfect for this operation. If that works right, it'll roll it over the top of that that stump, and then it'll pull right down the bank real easy. See, that's all downhill. That's easy. I got to get around that corner down there and up that road. That's not going to be easy, especially when I'm dragging that. So we're beginning, and got a young fellow who wants to buy all this stuff for firewood. So I figure, you know, this is what I do. I crank this stuff out for my own firewood. I'll just up my production a little bit, be out here a little bit more often. And he's not exactly a ball of fire, so I don't think it's going to be awful hard for me to stay ahead of him. And I'll do a couple today, a couple tomorrow, see how fast he goes, and then I'll start doing my own stuff. You know, and just stay ahead of him. He's got a little dump truck, so however fast he can get back and forth with the dump truck is how many trees and how fast I'll take trees down. There are a couple of ash trees in there right on the property line. I think I'm going to drop them and drag them right out of there. I don't really see an easy way of getting the camera in there, so I'm just going to set the camera out here and you'll see them come through the trees. Yeah, this is a typical day for me, you know. It's getting towards the end of summer, so I have to start getting the firewood down. And I have a fellow buying some from me, so I need to have ready to burn firewood. I have a lot of ash out there, and I had no intentions of doing a video, but it kind of dawned on me that maybe a little bit of visibility into this world actually makes some sense, because the saw on the tractor is my 565 or the 562, whichever one happens to have the freshest chain. And basically I don't carry gas or bar oil. I pretty much go until I run out of gas. That's when I stop, and that's either the saw or me. And with these new auto tunes, I don't have to carry a little tune and wrench, and oftentimes I get enough done where I don't feel like I need to fill it up anyway. You know, it's just one of many things I have to do on a given day. So, but as I was going back and forth from one tree to the next, cut one down, drag it out here, cut another one down, drag it out here, and actually the cut time, as compared to the overall operation, is you know, it's something you feel because you're doing it, but it's not the end of the world if you're a second slower, is the point. And that's why a saw like that really makes sense for me, because I know it's going to start, it's going to be reliable. I only have one, not planning on getting stuck in the tree, so I take my gamble by having the one saw on the tractor. And what's more important than absolute cut speed and stuff like that is by things like vibration, fuel usage, how easy it is to start and restart on a given day. Just basically the things that you have to do when you interact with a saw is a whole lot more important than the actual speed of the cut. I mean, within reason. I don't want a pig. I wouldn't want to take like a, you know, an older Poulin or something like that. I'd have to have enough power and speed to make it, you know, not annoying. But you get into that class of good saw where it's a good 50 cc, 60 or even 70 cc saw. And that's usually all I need, you know. I happen to have this one on here, but the 562 would be just fine. And, you know, sometimes you get a bigger tree, sometimes you don't. And I've got enough saw and enough bar to do pretty much anything I'm going to do around here. That's the point. And as much as I love my tweaked saws, on a day like this, it just doesn't matter. Well, I need to see if I can get through here. It's pretty wet down here. We've had a lot of rain. There's actually like running water right underneath where I am. And so this thorn apple, I need to get this out of there. And there's an ash tree right there that's alive, but it should come down anyway, just so I can come through here. And maybe I cut that one too, so I can work my way through here. Now there's a lot of dead wood in here, which is not good firewood. But somewhere past that knob, it gets hard again. And plus I got a big old leader that goes out that way. And I used that in one of the videos a long time back. So I think what I'm going to do here is try to cut that right there. Skid that big chunk up and down. It's bigger than it looks. Going out that way. And then come back and hook onto that leader and pull that up and out. Yeah, I think I can get through there now. But that old tree I cut down with a big hose forma, the big G88 or 888, that thing is pretty solid. I'm a little surprised. So I don't know how much gas I have left, but I have a bunch of skidding to do. I have a little gas left, you know, quarter tank. So we continue. Well, I have to take this opportunity while I'm over here to kind of lift so I can get the chains around them. So I went and lifted that up and put a log underneath it. And hopefully it'll settle down and I can get out of there. And I got to do the same to that one over there. Well, I got it hooked on, so now I'm going to go around the other side again. Believe it or not, even though this is a certifiable pain in the neck, once I get this done, it's going to give me a lot more access. You might be a redneck if you use your hay spike for a parking brake. Jam that sucker right into the mud. Not going anywhere. Hook onto this stupid log and pull it out of there. Let's see if we can get out of here. That shouldn't be that heavy. And that, like I said before, that's a whole lot more solid than I thought it was. I want to get this one out, and then I'm going to come back right in here, hook onto this one, and pull this whole thing right out. And then I'll have a lot more freedom in here. Of course, we'll cut down some more trees. That's what we do. Came from over there on the other side of the pasture, and I'm going over there. So it takes about, I don't know, 20 minutes for a turn to get down in the woods, hook on, come back up, get back down. It's about a 20-minute turn, maybe half hour, depending on how difficult the hookup is in the woods. The last one was actually a half hour. This one might take only about, I don't know, like I said, 10 minutes each way. But yeah, there's a lot of time just dragging stuff, you know. Steep little hill. Pretty wet down in here. It's a hot day too. What's the point of all this? That was fun getting that one out. Is everybody's situation's different, you know? You kind of make do with the tools you have, and if it cost justifies to get more sophisticated tools, you do it. If it doesn't, you keep using what you have. And in my case, I've been doing it this way for a long time. You know, I could use a skidder, I could use an arch, There's all kinds of devices I could do. And what's going to happen is, for me doing my firewood, this is fine. I get it done fast enough. I have fun doing it. I pick at it a little bit each day. And if I have to start supplying somebody firewood who needs more than what I normally do, this might not be adequate. And if the money's right, well, then you spend money and get like an arch or something like that, or even a skidder. Little tractor does okay. Big tractor does a lot better. But right now I still have hay equipment attached to the big tractor, so I'm using the little one for now. And the second part of it is, if you look at the day spent, you know, I've got maybe 2/3 of a tank of gas used on that saw. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got like 5 trees down. I could probably get another 2 or 3 trees down with that. I'm going to do one more. I don't know if I'll put it on video and drag it out. But the time spent actually dropping the trees is minimal as compared to the time spent hooking on them, dragging them, and then coming up here processing the firewood. And I guess there's a message in that. So yeah, I run my little hot saw because I like it. You know, not because I need to. That saw right there is a little bit dull, a little bit boring, but it does a job. And more importantly, it starts every time. So I'm out there thrashing in the woods, 1 or 2 pulls, and it's talking to me, and that's what it's supposed to do. And that's part of what a good saw is to me. The most important thing is a start and restart. And right after that, it's having enough power to do the job. Then right after that, things like vibration and power and all that stuff. It has to have enough power, there's no doubt. A little more power never hurts. But is it worth going crazy and modifying the saw to get that power? It is if it's for fun, but not for real. And that's my point, I guess. And it's not going to stop me from doing it. You know, all the rationale aside, and oftentimes this is the saw that's been getting the call because it makes enough power. It doesn't vibrate, starts and restarts. But some of this was done with the 562 and some has been done with this. And both those saws are going to get, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, a couple tanks a day, you know, pretty much for the rest of the year until I get my firewood done. I supply the firewood for the fellow who's buying it. And talk to you later. Bye for now. Gonna go back and get another tree. I might go back to a 20-inch bar, and I might go back to my 562 or even my 560 though, because I'm having to make those cuts as close to the ground as possible. And right now I need as light a saw as possible. And most of the trees down here are like the 15 to 18 inch range. So a 20-inch bar is fine. 24-inch bar is just weight I don't need to carry and manipulate. So yeah, everybody has their own world. This is mine.